Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and apologies for that. Welcome to another episode of the Market Snapshot series. So today, we are going to be talking about the impact of Trump's tariffs on Canada, Mexico, as well as China. So we have already seen these causing a lot of volatility. So we'll try to understand how it's impacting the markets and how we can look for opportunities based on this information. So good morning, Wangari Patrick. I can see Eric Wanderi in the house, Maureen, Denise, Edwin, Rono. Thank you guys for joining. So let's get things started. So from the economic calendar, we don't have much happening today. As you can see, we don't have any major announcements. So the only thing we had was the monetary policy meeting minutes from Australia. These didn't have much of an impact. So a majority of the market movement that you are seeing right now is as a result of yesterday's speech by President Trump, where he had to make a number of announcements. So one of the top announcements in the market right now is what? One, the US is pausing military aid to Ukraine. A White House official confirms to the BBC's US partner. So all the negotiations between Trump and Zelensky had to come to an end because he basically paused all military aid, including the current ongoing projects. So outside of that, the big news we had in the morning was basically Trump announcing more tariffs on China. So that has been the biggest backdrop of the market movement this morning. So he halted the aid on Ukraine, put tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. And for China, it's just additional tariffs. The first one was 10%, and now he added 10% more to China. And this has caused a lot of panic in the markets. We saw the big sell-off that was happening yesterday. So as a result, what we are seeing as the market reaction is European equities really going down. We are seeing gold making a very impressive recovery since yesterday. And at the same time, we're also seeing the dollar being pretty weak across board. So we'll be going through the charts, try to understand where best to position ourselves. And as always, remember, these sessions are not investment advice. They are not a recommendation to trade. So you should always do your own due diligence. So let's jump right into it. So our chart of the day will most likely be gold, which has made a very strong recovery. So notice how from yesterday, we have had all these movement up 2.5%, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. Just keep on pushing higher, and our most likely target will be on a previous low. So in this case, we'll be looking at a target around 29.16. So there's a good likelihood we'll be seeing this momentum continue as the markets continue with panic. Everyone is afraid of what Trump might implement next. And as a result, we are seeing more investors going for safe haven assets. So outside of that, we have seen European equities open really weak, beginning with the French 40 stock market index. So you can see the big sell-off since the market opened. So strong likelihood that we keep seeing this bearish momentum and at least the market retesting the last low that we saw on Friday. So good chance that the French 40 index keeps on with this sell-off, as investors are currently very afraid that Trump might implement more tariffs, especially on the Eurozone. So the Spanish IBEX also has been pretty weak this morning. So good chance that we eventually get to our target here. That is 13,155 per share. And also for the German stock market index, we're also seeing very strong selling activity. So since the market opened, it has been pretty much bearish, and it seems like there is some form of panic in the markets. So as a result, you can see that the moves are quite overextended. So good chance that we see the German stock market index continue with this particular trend. So As for silver, we are seeing a very strong correlation happening similar with what we are seeing with gold. So good chance that we keep on seeing this bullish momentum. So we still have a very strong resistance in this area here. So good chance that at least we test $31.931 dollars. So as for major currency pairs, we already know what's happening with the dollar. So the dollar index has been pretty weak since yesterday, and you can see the continued momentum here. So as a result, a majority of the major currencies have really gained against the dollar. So we saw these with Euro USD and expected a momentum higher to this area here, but the market exceeded the projections we had yesterday, and the bullish momentum seems to be continuing for the day. So good chance now that we get to another resistance area around 1.0525 for Euro USD. So for Pound USD, we also expected some form of bounce along this area here. So a strong rally happened yesterday, and now you can see that the market is struggling to move higher. So if we eliminate all this and try to understand the strong bullish momentum in Pound USD, so good chance that we have already touched the resistance area. So we can already see that the market is struggling to break above this. So if I was looking for a trade, the Pound USD wouldn't be the best target compared to the other pairs we are watching in the markets. So for AUD USD, the bearish momentum continues. So notice how we had this continued sell-off happening last week, and this week we're even seeing a continuation of the same. But at some point, we should be looking to see some form of support. So in this case, even though the market is strongly bearish, good chance that we will be seeing some form of reversal once we get to these support areas. So from the forward chart, this is how it's looking. So the market has been strongly bearish. So potentially we'll be looking for buys along these zones here. So for now, we continue enjoying the bearish momentum. So for dollar yen, it has been pretty violent, or I would say high volatility in the dollar yen pair. So clearly, we are at a major turning point. This is the key level support. So whenever you see these, you know that there will be a lot of activity happening in this particular chart, knowing that we are currently testing this area here, and the market could either break or bounce. So given the weakness that we are seeing with the dollar and the strength that we have enjoyed with the yen since the year started, good chance that the market might eventually break and move lower. So we'll be watching this level closely around 148.6693. And once we identify a break, then there's a good chance that we capture short selling positions. So the Nikkei 225 index is really struggling to make a comeback. So still happening to have a lot of weaknesses. So stock market indices are not the favorite thing to be buying this week. So all we are seeing is out of panic selling, and this panic selling is still opportunity for traders. So good chance that we continue seeing more bearish market as we head on with the day. So as for oil, we are seeing an all-out sell-off happening with Brent oil, mainly as a result of the OPEC expanding oil output. So with the big news of the expansion of oil output, we have seen markets headed to a level that we haven't seen since the year started. So good chance that we potentially break the support area here. Then we will probably see oil trading below $70 per barrel. So the selling momentum is pretty strong today. So strong likelihood that the bearish momentum continues. So as for US equity indices, after the big sell-off yesterday, today they seem pretty chilled. We don't have much of an activity happening here. So it's more of a market that is pretty quiet since the open. So good chance that we'll be seeing some form of volatility during the New York session. But for now, it's a market that is just moving sideways. So from the Nasdaq, if you look at the Dow Jones, there's nothing more of a momentum here. So good chance that we'll be seeing activity during the New York session. So you also look at SP 500, it's the same thing. We don't have much happening, so we'll be pretty patient. For those who are new, you should know that the New York session opens at 5:30 p.m. So good chance that we'll be seeing some activity happening in these top US equity indices. So as for the Russell 2000, it's the same thing. We don't have much happening here. Also notice here, nothing much is happening here. So good chance we'll be seeing a breakout later on in the day, perhaps in the London, but most likely in the New York session. So for Bitcoin, we're also seeing some form of panic selling. So our area theory that the market could potentially jump from around these prices has been nullified, which basically implies that we could be seeing some more downside due to the panic selling activity we are seeing across board. So good chance that we see Bitcoin retesting the previous low between 78 and 79.5. So New Zealand USD are trying to pick up from the previous support. So it seems like we are finding some good support along these areas here. So good chance that we see the market currently moving and retesting yesterday's high. So from the current setup, it seems more likely that we'll be seeing the market retesting this area here. So outside of that, for European equity indices, we already talked about them. Currently, they are having a lot of strong selling activity. So good chance that we could find an opportunity in either one of these, from the Euro Stoxx 50, the French stock market, to the Spanish and the German. All of them seems to be in a free fall. Good chance that you could squeeze in some pips from these indices. So I'm checking the comment section here. Question from Joseph. Which direction is gold heading to? Are we likely to see a rate cut in Fed this month? So a rate cut is still a potential fight between Powell and Trump. Trump wants to cut rates and Powell wants to keep rates higher. Powell has the power to keep the rates higher for longer, mainly because inflation is still a big problem in the US. So there's a good chance that we will be seeing the Fed holding rates. So as for the direction of gold, as we have already discussed, there's a lot of panic in the market. And whenever there's uncertainty in the markets, we tend to see investors going for gold. So good chance that we keep seeing the strong momentum in gold moving higher. So OPEC indicated plans to revive halted production from April, ongoing trade war among the big economies, and Trump's increased production policy should be pushing a free fall in WTI. Can we expect it today? I believe it's already happening. From the announcement we saw yesterday with OPEC producing more oil in the markets, all we have been seeing is a very strong bearish momentum happening in Brent oil, as well as the WTI. Good question here. What time is the London Open? It's 11 a.m. So I believe you have covered all the questions. So guys, remember to check out the latest episode of the Bullish Banter podcast. We have a new episode that is up now. So also remember to check out the latest episode of the Financially Incorrect podcast. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Happy hunting.